So it's time to discuss another Burnout favorite of mine, and one that this time I do have experience playing back in the day. This is Burnout Revenge on the Xbox 360, fully backwards compatible on the new Series X in all of its glorious detail. Now, last year I discussed my thoughts on playing Burnout Paradise on the PS3 for the first time, and I came away with the notion that Paradise, to me at least, felt like the pinnacle of the franchise, almost pure perfection in that sense. It wasn't a perfect game, mind you, but Paradise just took the series into a direction as far as it could go, in my opinion. And I argued back then that while I dearly miss the series, there's little more that I could expect them to do with the franchise besides just simply going bigger. Burnout Revenge, however, is a completely different animal altogether, though. It's a cross-generation title that would be the final game that's really events-based in the franchise. Unlike Paradise, Revenge isn't open world. Instead, it follows a more typical style and formula that previous Burnout games possess. The only thing that quite surprised me here was just the sheer volume of events and the progression. It's not immediately made apparent to you, but this is a game that will take you a long time to complete if you were to set out and do everything. It's also one of the stingiest titles when it comes to rewarding you with achievement points. So after playing 15 hours of the game myself, I have yet to unlock a single achievement in the game. The achievements are mostly tied to events that I haven't even come across to in the game yet, and they're also tied to multiplayer challenges as well, which I didn't attempt to play either because I consider that this game's servers were probably shut down many years ago, but well, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. There's a lot to break down here, so let me try to best organize my thoughts and go through each item one at a time. As I mentioned previously, this is an events-based racer, which just feels so refreshing in today's market because almost every racing game I've played, bearing in mind the simulator titles, they have all gone open world. And there's nothing wrong structurally with that decision, right? But it's this push to an open world formula, which I have long felt is the core reason why some of these games suffer and just fail to have, real impact in today's market. And classic racers like this, were just fun, timeless experiences, and there isn't really that type of game that's being made anymore, in my opinion. Playing Revenge today felt so refreshing because while there are magnitudes of content available in this title, this is one of the most accessible pick-me-up-and-play games I have played in quite some time. This could probably last you 30 to 40 hours if you want to complete everything and do every single event that is on offer here. It's just mind-numbing, but you can also play it in a more casualized light as well and just simply jump in for a single race or two. And most of the events also only take a couple of minutes to complete. So there's a real element to this game where you can just kind of decide how you want to invest your time into it. And I just like that it kind of adapts to whatever you're really looking for. Car selection in this one is also very fun. I like all the different vehicles, and typical of Burnout, we have more fantastical cars here, concept vehicles, muscle cars, all attempting to mimic their real-life auto counterparts. Each of these vehicles belong to a specific class and perform differently depending on this as well. There's really a balance to the decision-making when it comes to competing in these events because the fastest car may not always be the best suited for the type of event that you're competing in. You're often trading weight for speed in this game, and the AI is just ferocious. They will come at you and do everything in their power to ram you off the road. And there's quite a challenge when it comes to racing in this game. Some of these AI-controlled components are quite aggressive and just play very strategically. So first place isn't always guaranteed, regardless if you have the fastest car in the race. Now, you also get to customize these vehicles ever so slightly. You have the ability to change their color and sometimes go a bit beyond that. But the entire main menu system, speaking on this, and just the navigation just feels super smooth and is easy to find what you're looking for. It's easy to see how much further you have to progress in a certain event. It's just all laid out really nicely. The tracks themselves are also quite varied. There's a decent number to them, but after around 15 hours, I do find myself racing on the same tracks repeatedly. But there actually might be ones that the game is saving for events taking place later on. So in that respect, there could be more tracks available than what appears at first glance. But the further you get in the game, the more cars, the more locations you tend to be able to race in. New to this particular entry are a few key gameplay elements. For one, they have this new traffic ramming mini game where you have to kind of rearrange traffic in order to keep a timer from running out. And if you go ahead and crash into oncoming traffic, you have to kind of respawn here. So it's kind of mayhem, and sometimes you'll have to zip through some crossroads pretty quickly due to variances in traffic, but I had fun with it. You also get this new explosion mini game where you have to crash your car into a huge intersection, blow it up, and then try to create as much chaos and property damage as possible. In fact, when you're racing in this game and you just so happen to crash, you also have the ability to maneuver your vehicle as well as explode it to try and take out any opponents kind of driving by you. And it's basically a glorified last stand mode in the game, but it actually helped save my ranking a few times in the race, so it's a cool addition. The music is also classic rock and roll Burnout. We get all the great classes of music here and the alternative bands from the mid-2000s, which just puts a smile on my face. The soundtrack transported me into a much simpler time of my life, and I just think it helps add to the tension and excitement of these races as you're playing it. All the licensed music here is great. The game does a great job at telling you also the names of the songs on display, so it's easy to kind of recognize what you want to listen to at the same time. And of course, let's take a look at the box art for Burnout Revenge on the Xbox 360. Shout out to my friend Dean over at Vernie Corleone 62 for gifting me this game many years ago. Really nice to have a clean copy of the game, and a physical one at that. You can still get this game digitally, which is quite surprising given that the music licenses usually expire. But yeah, there's some cool, information on the case. It talks about online enabled and, it being supercharged for Xbox 360. So very much trying to sell you on the next generation concept at the time. We open it up here, and I don't have a manual or anything, unfortunately, but I do have a nice clean copy of the game disc here, Platinum Hits version, which worked perfectly, and the Series X was able to read that very easily, and also my Xbox 360. So cool look at the box art, and nice to have a clean copy of the game. Visually speaking here, this is a great looking game. This was released months after the Xbox 360 first came to market, so it's actually exclusive on the Xbox 360 when it comes to 7th generation platforms. You can't get this on PS3. When you first start this game, you have this nice trailer and montage with Faith Connors kind of detailing her excitement for Burnout moving into the HD era. So it's not just the soundtrack, but the entire personality of the game. It's very much of its time, and it's just added to sort of the enjoyment of this experience. On the technical front, you do get a crisp 720p image here and a rock solid 60 FPS. This is backwards compatible on the Series X, and you just got great fluidity when it comes to the motion, and just it's impeccable, really. You need all the visual feedback you can get with the insane height speeds you'll be reaching in this game, and it just runs buttery smooth. And I've actually played the game on original Xbox 360 hardware as well, and it's also equally smooth on that front. So Burnout Revenge is another great entry in the franchise. I do remember playing this one back on the PS2, but revisiting it again on the Xbox 360 here with just much more modern looking visuals and the benefit of the fact that they just simply don't make games like this anymore, equate to one of the more enjoyable racing games I've played in quite some time. It's just a great pick-me-up and play title, but also a really lengthy adventure if you dare to try to do everything that it offers. I just wish that they would sort of ease up on the achievement credits in this game. I guess they sort of did that with Burnout Paradise, but I can't deny playing this one just transported me back during a time period in my life that I miss very much and admire as well. So let me know what you all think if you guys played Burnout Revenge. Thank you all very much for watching this reminiscing video, and I'll catch you in the next one.